Warriors, Leafpool's Wish by Erin Hunter. Chapter 10.
Sunrises rolled past in a snow-bright haze. The kids grew faster than Leafpool thought possible, and almost overnight the hollow tree seemed too small to contain them. After 5 days, she and Squirrelflight ushered the little cats outside. They stumbled into the thick snow on tiny legs, and their tails stuck straight out behind them. Lion Kit and Holly Kit had already opened their eyes, amber and green, reminding Leafpool of new leaf and warmth and the certainty that the snow would not stay forever. The smallest kit was still unnamed. His eyes were tight shut. As Leafpool went to fish him out of a snowdrift, he blinked, and Leafpool was dazzled by a flash of brilliant blue. Like a jay's wing, she gasped. Squirrelflight bounded over, snow clinging to her belly fur, and looked down at the tom. Then we should call him Jay Kit, don't you think? Leafpool nodded. And one day you will be Jay Feather, like your father. Jay Kit ran in a circle and blundered straight back into the snowdrift. Squirrelflight hugged him out with an amused purr. You can watch where you're going now that your eyes are open, she teased. Lion Kit squeaked, and Jay Kit tottered in the direction of the sound. Leafpool looked around for her daughter. She was wrestling with the leaf, biting it with her tiny teeth, and clawing at the edges. Come on, fierce little warrior, Leafpool called. Back to the nest to warm up. The kids only stayed still long enough for Leafpool to lick their fur clean before they stumbled out of the nest and started exploring the inside of the tree. Lion Kit felt the dry clump of moss that Leafpool had drunk from during the birth, and he had started rolling it around with angry little growls in his throat. Holly Kit watched for a moment, her head on one side, before running over to join him. Bits of moss flew up and tussled with their prey. Leafpool noticed Jay Kit marching across the den. Suddenly, he slipped on a wet leaf and bumped his nose against the bark wall. Leafpool was ready to comfort him, but the little cat shook his head, then changed directions and headed for the moss game instead. Holly Kit stopped playing and sat back to let him have a turn shredding the ball. There wasn't much left but a few scraps, once Lion Kit had finished shanking it in his teeth. Leafpool felt a rush of love for her brave, strong son and her gentle, thoughtful daughter. But there was a special place in her heart for her smallest kit, who seemed oddly vulnerable compared with his litter mates. Half a moon passed. The snow began to thaw, and the she-cats basked in an unexpected and welcome patch of sunshine outside the hollow tree. In front of them, Lion Kit, Holly Kit, and Jay Kit were pushing fronds of dead bracken into a pile, then leaping off a grassy tussock into the middle. I can jump the highest, watch me, mewed Lion Kit. He sprang into the air with his sturdy forelegs outstretched and plunged into the ferns. And me, squeaked Jay Kit. He leaped off the tussock and was a muffled yelp as he landed squarely on his brother, who was still wriggling free. Jay Kit, look out! Holly Kit piped. She was purring with amusement. You're so silly. Little Tom scrambled out of the bracken with their furs full of spiky brown prickles. I think we've just seen some flying hedgehogs, joked Squirrelflight. Come here, you two. Let's clean you up. Lion Kit ignored her. That was fun. Let's do it again. He scampered back to the tussock. Wait for me, Jay Kit chirped. Leafpool shook her head. They have so much energy, she exclaimed. They're growing fast, Squirrelflight agreed. There was a pause, and it seemed to Leafpool as if it was the whole forest was waiting. You know we should take them back, Squirrelflight mewed. Leafpool closed her eyes. I wish we didn't have to, she whispered. They're so happy here. I know, but we don't have a choice. If we stay here any longer, the kids might remember too much. Leafpool stared at her kids as if they would never see them again. Will they remember this time? She wondered. Will there always be some part of them that knows the truth? She knew that Squirrelflight would love them, but what about Brambleclaw? And through Brambleclaw, Tigerstar? Does he know that these kids have been born? Leafpool stared at Lion Kit in alarm. Will Tigerstar lure him to the dark forest as well? Suddenly there was a wail, and Leafpool realized Jay Kit had vanished. Lion Kit and Holly Kit were standing on top of the tussock, with their backs to the she-cats, looking down. Jay Kit fell in a hole, Lion Kit called. I think he's stuck. Jay Kit's a mouse brain, mewed Holly Kit. Hush, Leafpool chided, bounding over to take a look. The little gray Tom had vanished into the gap where a sapling had stood before being wrenched out of the soil by a storm. Only the tips of his ears were visible against the brown earth. Help! He wailed. Leafpool braced her hind paws in the loose soil and leaned down into the hole. "Wriggle this way, Jake," she panted. She felt his feather-soft fur brush against her muzzle and reached down to grip his scruff in her teeth. With a heave, she dragged herself backwards and hauled him out of the hole. Jake crouched down and shook himself, sending Earth flying. He gazed up at Leafpool with eyes as clear as the sky. "Thank you for rescuing me," he chirped. "That was really big adventure, wasn't it?" "Yes, it was," purred Leafpool. She looked into her son's eyes. They were so beautiful, and yet she looked over her shoulder. "There's a big leaf over there, Jake," she mewed. "Please, could you fetch it for me so I can wipe the mud off my fur?" "I'll get it," Holly Kit offered, jumping down from the tussocks. "It's okay, Jakey can manage," Leafpool meowed. She watched as her son trotted away from her. He paused when his paws crunched onto the edge of the dead leaf. "Is this the one?" he called. "Find the biggest leaf you can, please," Leafpool told him. J.K. lowered his muzzle and brushed suspiciously over the leaf under his paws, and moved sideways and did the same to the next leaf. With Splashfly's grunt, he picked up the second leaf and carried it back to Leafpool, almost tripping over the bottom edge. "Thank you, little one," Leafpool praised. "That will get me very clean." She watched him trot back to his litter mates. "What was that all about?" Squirrelfly asked. "Are you getting him ready for apprentice duties?" Leafpool shook her head. "He didn't choose the biggest leaf," she murmured. "And did you see the way he only stopped when he was standing on them? And how he measured the size of the leaves with his whiskers?" Squirrelfly looked curiously at her. "Am I missing something?" Leafpool took a deep breath. "I think Jake is blind." "Blind? Are you sure?" Leafpool nodded. Squirrelfly stared at the gray kit as he bundled against Lion Kit, growling like the tiniest badger. Lion Kit turned and batted him very gently with his paw. "Poor little thing," Squirrelfly murmured. "What sort of life will he have?" "The same as his litter mates, of course," Leafpool snapped. Squirrelfly's eyes were troubled. "But blind cats can't be warriors. Longtail had to join the Elder's Den as soon as he lost his sight. What place is there in the clan for a cat who can't see?" "There is an equal place for J-Kit as any of these kits," Leafpool hissed. "I will make sure of it, even if you won't. Look at him. He doesn't know there is anything different about him." The she-cats watched the three kits tumbling on the damp grass. When J-Kit rolled too close to a patch of brambles, Holly Kit nudged him away from the thorns, then bounced on his tail with a squeal. "His litter mates already know how to look after him," Leafpool pointed out. Her heart ached. "Be brave, my little son. I will always walk beside you. I promise."